Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to participate in this celebration of 30 years of support for Queen Square. First as the National Hospital Development Foundation, and more recently as the National Brain Appeal. Alan Thompson is my name. I'm Dean of the Faculty of Brain Sciences and I'm a trustee. And you will hear over the next hour or so what has been really an amazing catalogue of achievement, without which Queen Square would be a poorer place. And of course you'll also hear about really exciting plans for the future. I just want to say a few words on two of the initiatives. When I was appointed in 1990, one of my responsibilities was to develop Neuro Rehabilitation. At that time, it was this activity was carried out in a 19th century building in leafy East Finchley. It was the days when rehabilitation was something done somewhere else by someone else, with the emphasis on calm surroundings and very little about an active research program. One of the first things that the National Brain Appeal supported was the move from East Finchley. I should just go back and show you this. This was East Finchley in 1897, and this is the Duchess of Albany, apparently. I'm sure you recognise them. And they were opening an extension. And this was the plaque on the wall, and this was still on the wall when I was there, and I think it's great. Convalescent home of the National Hospital for the Paralysed and Epileptic in 1870 for the benefit of a class of patients inadmissible to any other convalescent home in the kingdom. So it wasn't exactly a great place to be, I suspect, at that time. So basically, one of these, this is Finchley. And you see it's leafy, and that's quite good. And you see it's got wonderful stained glass windows, and that's okay. And we try to have meetings in it. But it was totally unsuited to anybody with any disability. And of course, that was everybody that was there. So the funding was to move from East Finchley, and that's the closure in 1999, to Queen Square. We had identified 3 floors of the building just beside here, just at the main Queen Square building. And we put in the Neuro Rehabilitation Unit and 2 gyms, and you just already get a sense of how different the atmosphere is. The whole point was to bring rehabilitation in to where research activity was going on so we could understand it better and improve it. And this, I think, just gives a stark contrast of how things used to be in that floor. There's the sister and the terrified patients, absolutely terrified. And here's the rehab unit with everybody very relaxed and having a good time and chatting. Since then, and as a direct result of the funding for rehabilitation, neurorehabilitation has really taken off at Queen Square, and this is one of the latest developments. The UCL Partner Centre for Neurorehabilitation, led by people like Nick Ward and Playford, Alex Leff, and I support, focusing on research, clinical activity and education. And it's just a completely different world, and it really is all thanks to the National Brain Appeal. The second thing, as I realise I've got 10 minutes, I've done 5 now, is I just want to talk about the Clinical Neuroscience Centre, number 33 as we used to call it, which is this building. And this really is another example of how the Institute and the hospital come together in it with a joint vision, and this was a joint initiative. This shows you where 33 is. This is the purpley bit over there, this sliver of a building. This is what it used to be. People used to actually work in this building. It is a bit pixelated, but actually it wasn't much better without that. It was originally a Georgian house which was burnt down and was rebuilt in Victorian times, so nobody was particularly interested in it. But this was the sliver, and this is what we did with it. And as I say, you're sitting in it. So there it is here. You see the building, you see us all up on the roof, you see the area being dug up. And what we've got here, which I think is quite symbolic of Queen Square, is we've got an education facility in the basement, if you like, or the lecture theatre. We've got 2 floors, ground floor and first floor, of clinical activity, and the remaining 6 floors are clinical research which is directly related to improving patient care. So that's how it looks like, and slightly more futuristic. I rather like these slides, but of course there's no people in them. Neat. This was the opening. This was by the UCL's Chancellor, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, meeting everybody looking really young and happy there. It's how things change. It's extraordinary. And this is up in the Gate Lab, which is one of the areas of research activity which links directly to the rehabilitation that I was talking about earlier. So this is in proximity with the gyms, and you can actually link the two. And this is the opening, and this is Christopher having a chat with the Princess Royal, who he knows extremely well, he told us. And I'm sure he does. For me, the National Brain Appeal has a very simple and successful philosophy. They would identify what the hospital required. It would have to be innovative and forward-looking, and invariably incorporated both service development and research activity, which are inextricably linked at Queen Square, and really have at its heart improving the treatment of patients. It would then get on and raise the money, which it did on every occasion for every initiative. So I just want to thank the National Brain Appeal for what I describe as consistent and unconditional support for Queen Square over the last 30 years. I particularly want to thank Teresa, who has always been so helpful and accommodating, even when requests bordered on the ludicrous, and Christopher, who has guided and directed the trustees with a lightness of touch and immense wisdom. So we wish you a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you very much.